Hi, this is Kishore and welcome back to Kishorelytics. In this video, we are going to dive something exciting and very interesting concept called the Windows function. So in this video, we are going to discuss about what is meant with the Windows function and what is meant with the partition class, what is meant with the order class, what is meant with the framing class. We are going to discuss. So I don't want to take much time of you guys. Let's dive into it. Yes guys, in this video we are going to dive something exciting and very interesting concept called the aggregation functions and the Windows functions. So the today's agenda is all about the aggregation function, and we are going to see about the Windows function, aggregation function, and we are going to see about the Windows function. And it is a very important topic, guys. Just please make note of it, the Windows functions. So now let's dive into it. So what is mean? We are getting into the aggregation function, types of the aggregation functions. We want to know about the aggregation. What is mean by the aggregation functions, right? What is mean by the aggregation function, guys? What is mean by the aggregations? We are doing some operations based on the column, right? That's the aggregations. We are doing operations, some operations in the column, some operations in the column. That's called the aggregation functions. What are the aggregation functions means? When the interviewer asks about the aggregation functions, means when we are going to perform some operations in that column, that's called the aggregations. So that's called the aggregations. The aggregation, there are 5 types of the aggregation functions, like count function, sum function, average function, and max function, min functions. So what does the count function do? It counts how many columns in the column, how many columns in the database. That's all about the count function. Sum function is all about the doing the summation of all columns, and the average of all columns, and maximum value in that column. Min of column means min of sales means minimum in that the column. So now let's do with an example. Consider, guys, this is a sales column. I want to count. I just using the count of sales. What is the output? There are 4 columns, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 columns, right? The output should be the 4. The summation column, what is the sum of sales? If you do the sum of sales means 35 plus 15, yeah, it's just 40, 50, yes, for 50, 70, 80. The answer is 80, right? That's all about the sum of the sales. If you do the average of the column, the average of the column is nothing but the sum of sales divided by number of columns. Right, this is the average formula, right? You have learned in the 10th itself, right? Sum of the columns divided by number of the columns, total number of the columns. That's all about the average. So the sum is the 80 divided by 4, it's 20. 4 ones are 4, 2, 0, 20, right? That's all about the columns. So if we give see about the max of the sales, what is the maximum value? It is 35, right? That's all about the output is the 35. If we see about the min of the sales, means the minimum value is that 10, right? So we can see about the output as a 10. That's all about the aggregation functions. And now let's dive into the Windows functions. So what is meant by the Windows function? Now in this video, later we are going to see, in the next video we are going to see about the rank function. Just note it down, guys. These are the functions, these are the Windows functions. I'm just holding, and don't take this rank function detailing lag. There are a lot of Windows function, lag, lead, entile, and there are many type of the Windows functions are available. I just keep describing this function in the upcoming videos. Now we are going to see about the basics and the syntax. The main agenda is all about the syntax of the Windows function. That's all about this in this video. That's all about this video, right? We are going to see only the syntax. What are the syntax? We are going to see about the Windows functions, right? Let's dive into it. Yes guys, before getting into the syntax of the Windows functions, let's learn about the what is meant by the Windows function. Right, as the name itself suggests, it is a window. Consider, guys, this is a window. In the windows there is a part, right? We can divide the windows into the separate parts. This is one part, this is a subset of this. Consider this is the entire database. I just convert it into the subset of data. Right, that's all about the Windows function. And the definition is all about that it performs calculations. We are going to perform calculations, like example aggregations, like sum, minimum, right? We discussed in the aggregation functions, right? Sum, minimum, max, min, everything. We are going to perform some calculations, but on a specific subset of the data. right? That's the main point. On the specific subset of the data, we are going to perform the calculations. This is the main interesting part. We are going to perform the calculations, but on a specific subset of data, but without losing the level of details of the rows. This is the main important point. Without losing the level of the details. I later explain this line later. If you see, when we compare it with versus the group by versus the Windows function, you can able to know this line, the line of this meaning, this line meaning, right? We are so for this Windows function is going to perform some calculations, but on a specific set of data. Consider Windows function is a this is a window. We are going to perform some calculation on a specific subset of data. We are going to perform. That's all about the Windows function, guys. I'm just explaining very clearly, right? So now let's dive into the next visual. So what is meaning the group by? In the first, I think in the first video or second video, this is the 11th video of the SQL crash course. If you want watch the previous video, please make sure to watch that video and after come to this video. That only this is the advanced part, right? Slowly we are getting into the intermediate part, and we are completed the intermediate part like datetime functions, null functions. What we are completed the case when functions in the previous videos, and now we are diving into the advanced functions. The Windows functions are the advanced functions we are completing, right? So slowly we are getting slowly from scratch how to install to from we are getting in the advanced session. These are the advanced session, right? I don't want leave a single topic in SQL, right? So if you watch that video, if you get this video useful, please make sure to subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel, and please make sure to share with your friends. Your friends also can gain the knowledge in SQL, right? That's what my wish, and everyone can learn if SQL for free, and Kishorelytics is here. Everything is free, right? So now let's discuss about the group by. What is mean with the group by, right? We are going to aggregates and group based, row based. Group by is the call about the row based aggregation, right? Row based on columns into the summary rows, right? This definition is not good, so I am explaining this definition with example. Consider, guys, this is an ID, this is the product name, and this is sales. Now we are going to group by the based on the products. How we can group by, how we can write the query? Select product and the sum of the sales from which database? Consider this is a sales database, sales DB. Group by product. Group by product. I think this is not visible, right? Let me erase this. Okay. Pen. Group by product. This is the query, and now we are going, the query and gets into the database and it checks whether we are going to group by the product, right? And where there is a two products and we are going to group buying it. Group buying means we are going to row based aggregations, right? So there is a one product and we are going to do the user tells the sum of the sales. The sum of the sales in the first product, the caps is the ID number 1, it sells the caps as 10, and the second ID it sells that 30. So the sum of the sales is 40. Right, we are going to sum of the cells. We are going to aggregates and group based, row based columns, row based on columns, right? That's all about the group by. So now what's the Windows function comes here? It computes aggregation but keep the details of the individual rows. This is the main important point. We are getting into advanced function, right? It computes the aggregations but keep taking the details of the individual rows at the same time. Right. So as example, in the previous examples, we can say we are in the group by. See, in the group by we are going to combine these two caps into the one caps, right? That's a group by, right? We are going to aggregates group row based columns on columns, right? That's all. We are here we are keeping the same details of the individual rows. That's all about the Windows function and differences between the Windows function and the group by function, right? See here, I'm just keeping that ID 1 and product total sales, right? So I'm just keeping same 1 caps 40 because there are two caps, right? We are going later we see the syntax of order over partition, later we will see. Then now we want to understand the Windows function, right? So that's all about the Windows function. If you see, there are keeping the row but keeping the details of the individual rows at the same time. There are two caps but the sum of the cells is same, 40 40. So here also see the 3 gloves, there are 5 and the ID third ID is also 5. 20 plus 5 25, right? The sum of the cells is 25. We are doing the row level calculation, right? We are going to compute the aggregations but keeping the details of the individual rows at the same time. That's all about the Windows function, guys. So we are see its collapse differences between the group by difference between the group by and the Windows function. It collapses the groups of rows into the single rows, but it is called a group level calculation. It collapsing, right, where group bying the columns. That's all about the column, where it collapses the group of the rows into the single rows, but it doesn't collapse, right? It maintaining the row of the calculation. So it's called the row level calculation. When the interviewer asks about the differences between the group by and the Windows function, means it is a group level calculations and it is a row level calculations, right? I'm explaining very clearly, right? Just note on the definitions. It aggregates the group rows based on the columns into the summary rows. We are group bying it. So this is a group level calculations. It is a row level calculation, but it maintaining the aggregations in individual rows. On individual rows, it will be maintaining. That's all about the Windows function, guys. So now let's dive into these are the group by functions, right? These are the group by functions. These group by functions are the aggregation functions, and the Windows functions also having the aggregate functions, and it will be having the rank functions and the value functions, analytical functions. So in the aggregation function, we have discussed about the count, sum, max, min, and average. I think here it will be in the average, right? So that's all about the aggregation function. It is the group by functions. Now we are going to discuss. We are completed so far in the previous video itself. We are completed, right? Completed. Now we are going to see about the Windows function. In the Windows function, it consists of the count, sum, max, min, average. We are going to see. In the rank functions, we are going to see about the row number, rank functions, dense rank, count, cumulative distance, person rank, n-tile. Like these are the rank functions. And the value function, analytical functions, right? Lead, lag, first value, last value. It's a last value. It's a last value. We are going to discuss a lot of the Windows functions in the later videos. Now, in this video, we are going to see about the syntax. We are going to see about the syntax of the Windows function. That's only we are going to see about the in this video. The main agenda, the main hero of this video is the syntax of the Windows functions. Now let's dive into it. So the difference between it is for the simple data analysis, it is for the advanced data analysis. We can do the aggregation and we can do the details. Detailing we can group in the subset of the data, right? So that's all about the advanced data analytics. It is used for the simple use cases. Use cases of the this visual is tell about the use cases, use of group by use of Windows function. It's used for the simple data analytics. It is used for the advanced data analytics. That's all about this visual. Now slowly we are getting into the main agenda, main hero of this video. That's called about the Windows function. So now let's dive into it. Yes guys, now let's dive into the syntax of the Windows functions. So I just categorize the Windows syntax into the three more categories, two categories. In the second category, we have the three categories like we are going to discuss. So don't worry about the Windows function. It is advanced function. I am take care of the Windows function, guys. So now let's dive into it. So consider that, guys, it's a Windows function. It may be the aggregation functions. It may be the rank functions. It is the aggregation function. Whatever it may be, it may be the aggregation function. It may be the average. It may be the sum. It may be the min. It may be the max. Whatever it may be, and it may be the first. It may be the aggregation function. It may be the rank function. It may be the rank function. It may be the rank function means what? The rank function, rank, dense rank. Likewise, we are going to see about the in the rank function. And it may be the value analytical function, right? It may be the lag. It may be the lead. Whatever it may be, we can put into the Windows function. So on again, the second part is all about the overclass. Without using the overclass, there is no after using the overclass only, the SQL knows it is a Windows function. We want to get into the subset of partition. Before getting, if you use the over function, means SQL consider it is a Windows function. We want to get into the database and we want to get into the subset of the data. So that's all about the Windows function, guys. It consists of two categories. One is the Windows function and the second is the over function. Inside the over function, there are three categories. What are the three categories? First, it may be the partition class. Right, it may be the partition class. Second, it may be the order class. Order class. Partition is which part, which subset of the data you want. And third, it is called the frame class. It is the optional, but we can use in the rank function. If we can use mostly it is used in the rank function only. Right. It may be the row preceding, row unbounding. Likewise, it will come. Many of the times we don't use the frame class. Consider, guys, window syntax. There are consist of two part window functions, and which one? It may be the aggregation function, it may be the rank function, it may be the validity function. And in the over class, it considers three categories. What are the three categories? Like the partition functions, order class, and the frame class. Right? In the partition class, what is mean partition class? We are going to group a which part of the column. In the column, which subset of the data do you want? That's called the partition. And order class is nothing but the ascending. Either you want it in the ascending order, either you want it in the descending order. Likewise, it comes. The frame class is nothing but the which column, rows between, from which rows, from rows between, bounding, unbounding. Likewise, it comes. Later we will discuss about this, all those concepts. So now consider, guys, this is an example. This is don't worry about this, all those syntax and all those queries. It is big, so don't worry. I will break down all those concepts. Right? This is the aggregation function. Right? This is a Windows function. Right? This I'm told this is a Windows function. After using the Windows over class only, the SQL will consider this as a Windows function. Otherwise, it is considered to be the aggregation function. Okay, this is the main note. Just note it down. And over of partition by category, we are going to grouping a subset of the data based on the category. This is a subset of the data. Subset of the data. Okay, and which order? Order date. By order by, we are going to order by order date, and rows unbound preceding. Likewise, we will going to discuss. Right, let's break down this query into subset subparts, small part, and we will break down and we will discuss about these small parts. Like, let's dive into it. So consider, guys, this is a Windows function. Calculus used on the window. Which calculation I'm using? I'm using the average of sales. Right? If we don't use the over class, consider, forget about this, means it is in the SQL. This consider the average of sales as the aggregation function. I am again and again tolding the SQL. If you do not use the order over class, means the SQL will consider the average of sales as the aggregation function. That's all about the Windows function. Windows function is nothing but we are going to perform the calculation within the window. That's all about the right. Here we can use the Windows function called we can use the min, we can use the max, we don't use the min max, we can use, but the main count and sum, average. Likewise, we can use the calculations, right? We are going to perform the calculations within the window. That's all about the Windows function. We are completed the first category, right? In the first category, we are completed. We completed this part. Now, slowly we are getting into the over class, right? We completed this is the expression, function expression. We are doing in it, and now we are getting into the function expression. Function expression means nothing but the arguments you pass to a function. Arguments is nothing but consider, guys, this is an example of the Python code. Consider I'm going to write a function, right? Def add. What is meant by the argument? This is to be considered, the values to be passed to a function, right? The values we are going. I'm just writing return simple function. It is a simple function x plus y, and we are going to call the function. I'm just answer. I'm just writing answer. Add of 5, 6. This is to be giving it to the value x, and this 6 is given to the value of y, right? We are going to give the value. That's called about the arguments. We are the arguments we are going to pass to a function. That's called about the function expression, right? So we can give the empty column. So it is not empty, it is empty. And we can give the empty column. Rank. If you give like this also, it will consider as the rank function. Or we can give the average of sales, right? We can give the average of sales, and we can give the number also inside the arguments. Like when using the entile function, we can give the. Now don't worry about this function, guys. Later we will discuss briefly in the next video. So for this video, we are going to discuss about the syntax of the Windows functions. That's all about this video. So we are going to discuss about them. We can give the multiple arguments also. Lead of sales. We are going just giving the one column and 2 numbers, right? Likewise, we can give the multiple arguments also, and either we can give the conditional logic also. Sum of case when sales is greater than 100. Like in the previous video we discussed about the case one statement, right? If you don't watch the videos, please make sure to subscribe and watch the video and subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel, guys. This is very useful when you are getting into the Python SQL interviews in many more companies, right? Yes, some of the case when sales greater than or equal to 100, then we are going to consider as true, else I'm just going to consider as false. Likewise, we can use the function expression. We can give the empty function expression, may be empty. We can give the numbers. We can give the multiple arguments like x comma y comma. Likewise, we can give, and either we can give the but conditional logic also we can give. Right? We can give the column also. I forgot about that column. We can give the column also. That's all about the function expression, guys. We are discuss about the Windows function, and we are inside the Windows function we are going to consider this as the sales function expression. We are discuss about the function expression, right? So the function expression in the for this count, it may be the all data type, numeric data type, sum, max, min. Likewise, we are discussing the aggregation function. In the rank function, maybe the function expression should be empty, right? Maybe the function expression should be empty. And the value analytical function, we can use the all data type like string, date time function, whatever we can use the column, any data type we can use that, right? So the aggregation function, it may be the integer, and the rank for the rank function, it may be the empty. Like we can use the many of the time we can use the rank function, we can use the row function, we can use the dense rank function. Like this, we have many types of Windows function in the rank function. And the value analytical function, we can use the any data type in the further expression, right? Now we are getting into the overclass, right? So we have completed this part. We completed this part, and now we are slowly getting into the overclass. So now let's dive into it. Overclass tells SQL that the function is used as a Windows function. This I am again and again telling, this overclass only tells the SQL. This overclass only tells the SQL that this is a Windows function. Go and perform the Windows perform like overclass. After giving the overclass only, it knows, the SQL knows it is a Windows function. We want to get into the subset of calculation on the subset of the data. Otherwise, the SQL it considers it as the aggregation function. So that's what the overclass comes into the picture, right? So now let's dive into the partition class. So inside the overclass, I categorize, right? Inside the overclass, there are, what are the categories? Partition, and the second category is all about the order by order class, class, and third class is all about the frame class, right? Yes, guys. In the inside the over function, there are three types of the categories. I categories three types of the categories. So that's only I keep in my mind. There are Windows function. We want to group by the Windows function into the two categories like Windows function and overclass. Inside the overclass, I just want to categorize into the partition class, order class, and frame class. That's all about the Windows function, right? Nothing bigger. It's not like nothing bigger. It is simple, right? I'm just breaking down the Windows function in the small categories so that you can able to understand the Windows function very easily. If you find this video useful, please make sure to subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel, and you may share this video to your friends also. And this video is also available in my Kishorelytics LMS portal, and quiz for this Windows function is also available in the Kishorelytics portal. So just go and register your account, take quiz, and you can take the notes also in that portal itself, right? I already in the previous video only we have introduced the Kishorelytics LMS portal. This is a link to the Kishorelytics LMS portal, right? I just writing. Wait a minute, guys. Yes, LMS hyphen Kishorelytics dot versal dot app. Why I am choosing the free domain means if I get the minimum subscriber, I will get the domain also. LMS Kishorelytics dot versal dot app. I'm the founder of this Kishorelytics LMS portal. I build the portal. If you have any bugs, if you found any bugs, I'm happy to clear all those bugs and let me know in the comment below. So now let's dive into the inside the overclass. Let's dive into the partition class. So what is meant with the partition by? It divides the result set into the partitions. Partition is nothing but we are going to divide it. That's all about the Windows function, right? This is one part, this is second part, this is three part, this is fourth part. We are going to divide the entire data set into the separate parts, small parts. That's all about the partition by. It divides the result set into the partitions. That's all about the Windows, right? So inside the partition part, what is meant with the partition by? Partition by divides the rows into the groups based on the columns, right? sum of the cells. If you give the sum of the cells and if you give nothing, means it will be considered to be the entire category, right? It perform the calculation on entire data set, it will perform. If you give the sum of the cells and over means it will be considered to the entire data set and do the sum of the cells. If you use the sum over of partition by product, it calculates only on the individually on each window the partition by products, and which product we are going to calculate. Partition by one product, there are considered two type of the product, and we are going to part the sum of the cells based on the product, right? That's what the partition by work comes into the picture. Partition by divides the rows into the groups, divides the rows into the groups, and based on the columns, based on the product we are going to discuss. That's all about the partition by, guys. Nothing big. Okay. If you use the Windows partition by divides the rows into the groups based on the columns we were discussing in the previous picture. Now we are going to discuss about the without partition by, how it works. Total cells across all the rows, entire result set we are going to perform on the entire result set. That's all about the total cells. If we partition by on the single column means partition over partition by product, it will be total for total cells. It will be calculate the total cells for the each product. If we can give the combined columns also, total sets for each combination of product and the order status, right? If we can give the combined columns also, sum of the sales over partition by product and order status. It will be calculated for the combination of products and order status and the based on the sum of the total sales, right? That's all about the partition by. For the partition by, the partition class may be the empty, right? We will discuss. And now we discuss about the order by class. So order by class, it defines the windows based on the, it will be data in the window, so that the data in the window, it may be the ascending order, it may be the descending order, whatever we want to be. So that's all about the order class, right? So order by, it sorts that data within a window, whether it may be the ascending order, whether it may be the descending order, whatever it may be, it sorts the data within a window. We are going to sorting the data, right? In the previous data we were in a previous class, right, partition class, we divide the entire row into the single subset of rows, like small part, and after making the small parts where we group we are making the small part into the ascending order, right? That's all about the order by class. So the order class, it may be the optional, right? For the rank function, the order by class is compulsory, like from which rank is from the first rank, or it may be in the last rank. Likewise, it is compulsory, and the value analytical function also, it will be compulsory. From before, lead means before, we are going to see before, right? That's all about the rank. It is required. Order by class. Order class is important in the Windows function, right? If when the expression should be for the expression, all the types should be for the aggregation function, it is numeric, and the rank function, it should maybe the empty, and the entire function considered to be the numeric, and then value analytical function we can use the all data type. And the partition function, it is not the compulsory, it is optional, right? We are discussed, right? We are discussed here. Yeah, it may be the empty, we don't consider. If we give this means we can give by the partition data, partition the subset of the data, we can SQL will do. Otherwise it will group by into the entire column. And the order class, it may be the optional. Here it is required. For the value analytical function, it is required, it is compulsory. So now let's get into the rows unbound proceeding. So now let's dive into it. Yes guys, now let's dive into the third part in the over class, that is called the frame class, right? It is same, not it is frame class. So divides the subset of the rows into the windows. That's all. That's the main intuition of the frame class. Frame class. Let's dive into the frame class. Inside this frame class, it will do the subset of the window. That's the main intuition of the frame class. So consider, guys, this is the entire data set. We can within the entire data set, we are doing the partition by. After partition by, we are subgrouping it to the subset of the data. Within the subset of the data, inside in the subset of the data, I want to do the another subset of the data. That's come the frame class into the picture. Are you guys able to understand, right? So consider, guys, this is an entire set of the data. After doing the Windows function, we are doing the partition by function. We are consider the entire set of the data to consider to be the two subset of the data, right? After do we partition by, I want the inside the subset of the data, again I want the subset of the data, right? So inside this there is a subset of the data. That's called about the frame class, right? So this is in the aggregation function, the frame class should be optional. For the rank function it is not allowed, and the lag and lead function also it is not allowed, and the first value, the last value it is not also optional, right? That's all about the frame class. So now let's dive into that. We have completed the syntax, guys. So far we have completed the syntax. These are the syntax, right? We have completed. So now let's dive into the Windows rules. What are the rules we want to follow using the when we are using the Windows function, right? Windows functions can be used only in select or the order by class. This is the main rule, guys. Windows function can be only used when used only in the select and order by class. And the second function, the second rule is that next in Windows function is not allowed, and we don't able to use that function, right? Sum of over, likewise we don't use nested Windows function. Nesting Windows function is not allowed, right? And the third rule is about all about the SQL execute Windows function after the var class. In SQL, the SQL execute the Windows function after the var class. That's the main third rule. Remember, guys, these are the 4 rules, and all those notes are available in my Kishorelytics portal also, and my GitHub repository also. You can find the notes in 2 ways. Just go and get, and all those links are available in my GitHub repository. Just subscribe to the Kishorelytics. Now let's dive into the fourth rule, and the fourth rule is nothing but the Windows function can be used together with the group by. Right? Windows function can be used together. It can be used with the group by. Together we can use the group by. Right? Windows function. Right? The first rule. What is the first rule? Windows function can be used after the only in the select and order by class. And the second rule is all about the nesting Windows function is not allowed. And the third rule is all about the SQL execute the Windows function after the var class, and the Windows function can be used together in the group by class. These are the 4 rules for the Windows function. Yes, in the previous rules itself I told, right? Average of, I just told, right? Sum of sales, and right? So we can't able to use the Windows function. In nesting Windows function cannot be allowed. That's the main rule. That's the important rule. Nesting Windows function can't allowed. That's the main rule. So now let's dive into the conclusion part. Now we are in the conclusion part. We have seen about the syntax so far. Now let's dive into the conclusion part. And what are the conclusions we have done? So in the today's agenda is all about the aggregation function. We have seen the aggregation. What is mean the aggregation? We are doing some calculation on the column. That's all about the aggregation function. We have discussed about the count, sum, average, max, min. We have discussed, and we have discussed about the syntax. The main agenda, the main hero is all about the Windows function basic. Like we are going to see about the syntax of the Windows function. And we are discuss about the what is mean with the Windows function. What is mean with the Windows function, guys? Let me know in the comment below. It perform the calculations on the specific subset data. And we are discuss about the group by, and we are discuss about the Windows function, and we are discuss about the differences between the group by and the Windows function. And what are the Windows? We are discuss about the group by aggregation function. We are discuss about the Windows function. Like in the Windows function, there are 3 categories. I categories the Windows function in the 3 categories. What are maybe aggregation function, rank function, and the value analytical function. And the aggregation, we are discuss about the use case of the group by, and we are discuss about the use case of the Windows function. And in the Windows function, we have the categories the Windows function in the 2 categories, like Windows function and the overclass. In the Windows function, maybe the aggregation function, rank function, it may be the analytical function. In the over function, we have discussed about the we are discussed in the over function. We have categories the 3 categories. What are the 3 categories? We are discussed right, partition class, order class, and the frame class. And we are discussed about the Windows function. We are discussing this is aggregation function. Inside the we are what are the Windows function we used, and inside the function argument we are discussing what are the parameters. We have seen the some small Python code what is to understand the parameters, and we are discuss about the inside the parameters what we are giving. It may be the empty, it may be the column, it may be the number, it may be the multiple arguments, it may be the conditional logic we have discussed, right? So and the expression may be the numeric or empty we have discussed. And we are discuss about we are getting into slowly we are getting into the overclass. And the inside the overclass what is me after using the overclass only with the SQL can be able to know this is a Windows function. We want to do some Windows calculations in the Windows function. Likewise, the SQL knows. And after completing this Windows function, we are getting into the inside the overclass. There are 3 categories. We are discussing about the partition class. What does mean the partition class? We divide the entire data set into the subset of the data. That's all about the partition class. We have discussed about the partition by, and we have discussed about the without partition by. What happens without partition by? With what happens when the partition by used by the single column? What happens when the partition by is used in the combined columns? We have discussed, right? And I told about the partition class. It may be the optional for the aggregation function. It may be optional for the rank function. It may be optional for the value function. And we have discussed about the order by date, and we have discussed about the frame class, right? We have discussed define the subset of the rows into the windows. We have discussed, right? So that's all about the video, and we have discussed about some of 4 rules. And so that's all about this video, right? If you find this video useful, please make sure to subscribe to the Kishorelytics channel. If you find this video useful, please make sure to share with your friends. So this is Kishore signing up the Kishorelytics channel. Tata, bye bye.